Lender story time today. Hey everyone, it's Mortgage Mel and it's time for today's Mortgage Minute. Last week, Friday, I got a call from a listing agent who had just sold someone's home for them, and then this person was purchasing a new home. For the purposes of this story, let's call her Joanne. Joanne is purchasing a new condominium. And there seems to be an issue because suddenly, even though she is closing on her new condominium on Monday, remember I'm getting this call Friday afternoon, on Monday, there is a problem with her loan, and her loan officer is suddenly demanding more money for the down payment. And nobody can understand exactly why that is happening. And this gal is really, really unhappy and very nervous, and rightfully so. So now my first question is how this is happening at the last second. And truth be told, there are some loans that don't go easily into that good night, and it's a few days before closing, and it can be kind of stressful. But in this instance, the problem actually is something that should have been caught a lot sooner. So I'm not really sure what happened here. But basically, she had co-signed for her son's motorcycle, and payments were coming out of a joint account with her and her son. And because of that, it looked like she was paying those payments, even though her son was technically making those payments. Now, in the last few months, he had created his own checking account, and so those payments were coming out, but it wasn't a long enough time period. You need to have actually a full year of somebody making their own payments for it not to show up as your own debt when you co-sign. Something to be aware of. Now, how is she going to fix this at the last second? Because the amount you would need down, right, to add to your down payment to make up too high of a debt to income ratio is much higher than potentially paying off the item that is the problem. So I asked her how much the motorcycle was, and I think it was $4,500 left versus tens of thousands of dollars that they wanted in addition for the down payment. So the solution is pay off the motorcycle. That debt now comes off, get the receipt, send it to the lender. And of course, I told her to ask her loan officer first if this was okay, but in our shop, that would be just fine. And then I followed up with her, even though she's not my client, on Monday, find out if she was able to close, and she was, and she got her new condominium, which is amazing news. The story doesn't stop there, though. If you're still hanging with me, there's a little bit more. So basically, Joanne now sends me on Tuesday her closing disclosure. So she's looking for some advice. And I noticed two really glaring things. One, there are a ton of unnecessary fees, adding up to more than $1,000 more than what we would have charged. And two, including, by the way, a little portion of a point, which she had no idea about. I don't know how you, I'm speechless on these, okay? But beyond that, she also had the highest homeowners insurance I've seen for a property that size, for particularly a condominium. It was $160 more than I would have expected. That was pretty crazy. So first thing I did was recommend that she go to a different insurance agent, and I gave her 3 options. And it turns out, now this is several days later, it turns out that actually she can get it much closer to what I thought. And she will be saving over $160 per month, which is the happy news. So we have a widow in her new condominium, and now she's saving money on her homeowner's insurance. And I'm hoping that going forward, we can refinance her for a lower rate, because they also locked her in at a much higher rate than we could have gotten her. So hopefully I can get her in much better financial shape with a much lower payment very soon. She's already got this lower homeowner's insurance. So a happy ending to a story, but also a buyer beware situation. Always look at your paperwork. Always compare different insurance agents and different lenders and make sure that you know what you are buying.